Hello, today let's learn how to forgive yourself for mistakes. How to learn how to forgive yourself for mistakes. Techniques to work through. For a large number of people, any choice will be agonizing. To choose one dish or another, to put on this or that clothes, to stay at home or go out in public. The necessity to choose plunges into such unpleasant feelings. Fear, helplessness, confusion, powerlessness. These agonies of choice are replaced by endless regrets. Life passes by, has no taste, color, and smell, does not bring joy. These states of having to choose are shaped by parental behaviors. When a child breaks a cup, loses a toy, gets his clothes dirty, parents meet this with an inadequately strong reaction. The child sees that they are very upset or very angry, hears their emotional words, "It's always like this with you. When will it end?" And he realizes, any mistake he makes leads to great suffering in his parents. Since parents are the sources of all benefits for the child, he avoids causing their suffering intentionally. If his deities in the form of his parents suffer, it is not safe for himself. A belief is formed. It is extremely dangerous to make mistakes, it is better to do nothing at all. Also, the habit of parents to wail about any event can form such a reaction in the child. The father is going on a business trip, and the mother begins her sad song. "How will we be here? What if something happens without you? Why did you even get this job?" The child simply adopts this way of reacting and forms a belief too. Doing something is always dangerous. Life with such a belief and the feeling it causes is very difficult and unpleasant. Even the simplest tasks turn into trials. Often people who have this problem describe it this way. "When I leave the house, it's like I'm in a conflict. So much stress and responsibility. I'd rather not go out." Quite naturally, this leads to constant regret. Regrets are not the limit, and quite naturally, when the mistakes are more serious, the person suffers almost unbearably. In the same way, he may not decide to make important changes for a long time, and by doing so he harms himself greatly. For example, a person can wait until the unsuccessful company at all dissolve without paying debts on wages. After all, he could timely change jobs at the first signs of future decline of the company, and not to bear such financial and emotional losses. There are several ways to get out of the vicious circle of doubts and regrets. Small mistakes. It is important to pay attention to your feelings and thoughts when another mistake occurs. Usually a person says the same words to himself at such times that his parents once said to him. It is also possible to pay attention to how a person reacts to the mistakes of others. These words appear because of the experiences and support them. For a while, one can just catch oneself on habitual behavior, one can keep notes. Then it is necessary to stop at some point and consciously, by an effort of will, choose a different reaction. You want to say to yourself, "What an asshole." But instead you can imagine that the mistake was made by the child of the boss, whose mood depends on the annual bonus. Such a child will be treated very carefully, if only out of necessity. They say to him, "That's all right. It can be fixed. Let me help you." Gradually the new way of reacting will become a habit. This is how you learn to experience mistakes, and later on it will be easier to make choices. Average mistakes in a person's life. Almost always situations are related to each other and are causes and effects of each other. When a person is crushed by mistakes of medium severity, he falls into an artificial isolation from time. It seems to him that there is no future, no past, only him and his mistake. But many successful people can give more than one example, when their rather serious mistakes became an impetus for development and eventually led to success, to happy discoveries and acquaintances. To cope with regrets about medium-heavy mistakes, you need to perform exercise. Yes, but its essence is that a person within a certain period of time, a day, a week, a month, on any situation should give himself the following comment. Yes, it happened, but, and name something good that still remains in a person's life. For example, he may have lost his wallet, but he is still perfectly healthy. This exercise helps you stay in touch with reality. It can be transformed a bit and said like this. Yes, now I've lost my job, but I have gained invaluable experience and new acquaintances. During this year I will find a good place again. In this way, you can find reasons in the past to hope for better things in the future. This is necessary to move on to the next moment sooner rather than getting stuck in the moment of making a mistake. Fatal mistakes. No person can be focused and attentive all the time. can't control everything all the time. Something is overlooked. Sometimes mistakes that occur as a consequence of this inability lead to fatal consequences. For example, due to inattention, a person can die, or you can lose your entire fortune. Every day, the same situations do not end in tragedies, and no one pays attention to them. And this is just a game of regularities. Fateful events must fall on someone's share just because they had to happen at all. Not to one, so to another. Such situations cause an acute sense of burning guilt. Regret reaches absurdity. A person experiences grief, the culprit of which he considers himself. This is a very difficult state. The whole life turns into incessant self-accusation and grief. It is possible to work with such situations with the help of a tool from Gestalt therapy. The new memories technique. We don't keep the same memories. They change with experience, development, or a change of outlook. They evoke different feelings in us at different times. What's more, they can change in incredible ways. This is because we don't remember the truth in its entirety. We remember the small part that entered our consciousness. If a person's inner state changes, the information is also reorganized. To perform this exercise, you need to describe the tragic situation in as much detail as possible, despite all the pain. Any details are important: the weather, the color of the participants' clothes, the environment, sounds, smells, every slightest action. Then try to imagine that, as on a movie tape, the picture of these events rewinds back to the moment when the fateful choice was made. At that moment, the person should imagine that he or she is making a different choice, a more correct one, and also describe in detail the development of events after this choice. This exercise is performed several times. It requires time and a lot of patience, but gradually it frees from guilt, from regrets. At the level of consciousness, a person realizes that something irreparable has happened, but his subconsciousness and body already perceive the world based on new memories and do not generate such sharp negative feelings. New invented memories do not erase the old ones, they are layered on it and reduce its impact on a person. The point of this exercise is that you can't fix the past anyway. There is no point in spending the rest of your life in guilt and misery. Yes, mistakes can indeed be fatal, a person can indeed be guilty of what happened. But guilt and regrets will not allow him even the next more correct behavior to try somehow to redeem for himself at least what he has done. And after all, such a motive can become a reason for many good deeds, for the incredible development of personality. Thank you for watching.